And they want us as divided as possible while wages continue to stagnate, prices continue to go up, and the cost of rent continues to go up everywhere. More than 5 million people have already been kicked off their health care since Congresspeople in both parties voted to rob $900 billion from Medicaid while they pour $118 billion into DHS. But people all over are fighting back. Just like Minneapolis fought back on January 23rd and January 30th of this year, when they shut down the state twice to demand justice for 2 brave community activists who were executed for standing up to ICE. Tomorrow, workers and communities around the country are answering the call for a national day of action to say that enough is enough and to demand an end to this terror in our communities. We know we can only stop this by standing together and staying in the streets, so that's what we're doing. On July 18th, this Saturday at 3 p.m. in Monument Square in Portland, Mainers will be taking the streets. At this press conference, you'll hear from immigrant rights groups, labor leaders, and civic organizations. We are one community united to say full legal rights for all immigrants and ICE out now. ICE out. ICE out. Out. ICE out. Our first speaker is Anton Westrick from the Community Organizing Alliance.
Hi everyone, my name is Anton, A-N-T-O-N, Westrick, W-E-S-T-R-I-C-K. Nos hemos reunido aquí en memoria de Joan Sebastián Durán Guerrero, un padre, un esposo y buen hombre. Familiares y vecinos describían a Joan como trabajador y de actitud calma, alguien que amaba a su esposa y a su hija, y que emigró a Estados Unidos en búsqueda de mejor vida. La mañana del 13 de julio de 2026 fue fusilado en su vehículo por agentes de ICE en el centro de Biddeford. Este suceso no es el primer disparo contra un inmigrante a las manos de la Agencia de Inmigración y Aduanas, y tampoco será el último. Los habitantes de Maine, especialmente los legisladores y los políticos, deben saber: el terror que los agentes de ICE están imponiendo sobre las familias y las comunidades continuará si no tomamos medidas. Estados Unidos se construyó sobre los principios del trabajo duro y la determinación. Los trabajadores inmigrantes que buscan seguridad y prosperidad para sus familias caben dentro de esa descripción. Las vidas de quienes han emigrado aquí no debería dependerse del criterio de una organización que ya ha disparado a varios inmigrantes dentro de sus vehículos. Existe un temor persistente que se apodera de las familias inmigrantes mientras hacen sus compras, recogen a sus hijos del colegio y van a trabajar, debido al encarcelamiento y al uso de la fuerza letal contra los inmigrantes en el país entero. ICE ha declarado que no hubo grabaciones del incidente. La ausencia de grabación plantea serias dudas sobre la transparencia y la rendición de cuentas de una organización que ya es conocida por anonimidad y secretismo. David Bruyet, el agente implicado en el disparo, debe rendir cuentas por las injusticias cometidas contra la familia Durán, y las operaciones del ICE deben ser investigadas por el daño que han causado en Biddeford y en otras ciudades. Community Organizing Alliance exige una investigación rápida, transparente e independiente sobre este disparo mortal. Hacemos un llamamiento a las autoridades estatales y federales para que garanticen que todos los responsables rindan sus cuentas. La familia de Johan merece respuestas y su hija merece justicia. Los ciudadanos de Maine merecen saber la verdad y no debemos dejar que esto vuelva a sucederse en el mismo estado. Gracias. We are gathered here in the memory of Joan Sebastián Durán Guerrero, a father, a husband, and a good man. Family members and neighbors describe Johan as hardworking and quiet, someone who loved his wife and daughter and emigrated to the United States for a better life. On the morning of July 13th, 2026, he was shot in his vehicle on his way to work by ICE officers in downtown Biddeford. This event is not the first killing of a lawful migrant by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, and it will not be the last. Mainers, especially lawmakers and politicians, need know that the terror being unleashed by ICE officers on families and communities will continue if action does not occur. America was built on the principles of hard work and determination. With immigrant workers seeking safety and prosperity for their families, they fit this description perfectly. The lives of those who have emigrated here should not be dependent on the judgment of an organization that has already shot multiple migrants inside of their vehicles. There is a persistent fear being driven into immigrant families while getting groceries, picking up their children from daycare, and going to work due to the widespread incarceration and use of deadly force against migrants across the nation. ICE has stated that there is no available body camera footage of the shooting. The absence of video recording raises serious questions about transparency and accountability for an organization which is already known for anonymity and secrecy. David Bruyette, the officer involved in the shooting, must face accountability for the injustices committed against the Duran family, and ICE operations must be placed under scrutiny for the damage they have caused in Biddeford and elsewhere. Today, we as the Community Organizing Alliance are demanding a swift, transparent, and independent investigation into this fatal shooting. We are calling on state and federal authorities to ensure full accountability for everyone responsible. Johan's family deserves answers. His daughter deserves justice. The people of Maine deserve to know the truth, and we cannot allow this to happen to our state. Thank you for your time, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Anton. Now we'll introduce our next speaker, Cynthia Finney, President of the Maine AFL-CIO.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Finney. I am, as you just heard, the President of the Maine AFL-CIO, CYNTHIAPHINNEY. We are a federation of labor unions across the state, approximately 220 different groups, and a little over 40,000 workers. We stand in solidarity, in mourning, and in outrage with the community of Biddeford, as well as every other city, town, farm, and field where the terror continues. Our work is often making things fair and safe in workplaces, but our work has had to expand to include keeping workers safe on their way to and from work, on their way to and from getting groceries or pharmacy supplies, to keep them safe from our own government. This is unacceptable. We demand that ICE stand down. The attack on workers and on immigrants must stop. My own family was immigrants 3 generations ago and came here for a better life. The America that I believe in, that we believe in, is a beacon for all who want to, and that is being undermined and destroyed, as is the safety of every community. Again, we demand that ICE stand down. We demand a full, fair, and transparent investigation and accountability for everyone involved in the tragedy, and we want them to end now.
Thank you, Cynthia. Now we'll introduce our third speaker, Faisal Khan, a civil human rights advocate and founder of the Carolina Peace Center.
Thank you. I want to take a moment of silence because there are so many people in this country, all across the board, immigrant communities, that are living under threat, under terror, under brutality and violence. And the trauma and the effects of that are so profound that it's going to have an effect for the next 30, 40, 50 years. So I'd like to take a silence, not just to remember Johan and his family and all the immigrants from black and brown communities that are being targeted in Maine and all across the country, but also the fact for all of us to reflect as an American citizen, as a fabric of this humanity, what is our obligation and responsibility to this terror that's being unleashed in broad daylight in our streets? Thank you. So why are we here together? Because we are tired. We have had enough of brutality, violence, systemic violence against the black and brown immigrant communities and refugees, from top to bottom. On Monday morning in Biddeford, an ICE agent opened fire into a car and killed Johan Sebastian Guerrero. In broad daylight. He was 26 years old, I beg your pardon, a family representative, and the Colombian embassy confirmed that he was a Colombian national. But he was more than a citizen. He was part of our mosaic, a part of our humanity, a part of us. Today, we're all Johan, all of us. And he was not even the target of the warrant agents were serving that morning. Officials said the man killed was not intended target of the operation. Now keep in mind that the United States Constitution has allowed racial profiling, meaning that black and brown people can be stopped anywhere under the suspicion. He had a wife, and she said that Johan had dreams of growing old together with her. He had so many dreams left to fulfill. He had a daughter. She's 3 years old. Her mother says, Dulce, the daughter, now asks for her father every single night. And according to family's attorney, Johan had been accused of no crime at all. He was in this country lawfully, following the legal process of our own government prescribed, with work permit and social security number. Most of the immigrant background from black and brown ethnicities, most of them have no criminal record that are being detained in ICE and being targeted. We are all different, but underneath the skin, we are all the same. We all carry the same aspirations, the same dreams, the same hopes. To make our lives better, to provide for our families, to raise our children so they can have a normal, healthy life. Yet on Monday, the community of Biddeford and the state of Maine did not just lose a wonderful man, but something changed forever. It changed who we are and what we claim to be. This is not one tragedy. It is a pattern, a policy from a white supremacist government. 2025 was ICE's deadliest year in custody in more than 2 decades, with 32 people who had died. The number matched the previous record, set back in 2004. And in 500 days since the administration took office, 52 people have died in ICE custody. A mortality rate more than double that what it was under the last administration. Check the numbers on who is being swept up. Nearly 3/4 of the people ICE was holding in detention in December had no criminal convictions at all. So we demand that Senator Collins, Senator King, Congressman Golden, and Congresswoman Pingree stand publicly with Maine's immigrant and refugee communities. Silence is a choice. We are asking them to choose differently now. Come united. Put the party politics aside. Stop pointing fingers at each other. And show some spine. Not only on speaking out, but pushing back and telling ICE it's time for them to leave the state of Maine, leave our streets, leave our neighborhoods, leave our children alone. And we demand ICE directly today to leave our cities. Pack up and get out of here. You're not welcomed. Leave us to live in peace, in security, in stability. So today and on Monday, and even before, a piece of our humanity was taken from us Monday. For good. That stain will never leave us. We must never forget his name, Johan. 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 He was a beautiful human being, like all of us, with wife and a daughter, a little girl who's still waiting for him to come home. but he's never going to come home again. Enough is enough. We will not look away. We will not be silent and quiet. And we will not stop until justice is done. And I ask the Attorney General of the State of Maine to conduct a transparent and thorough investigation and bring this ICE agent to justice. Until then, we will not remain silent. Thank you.
Thank you, Faisal. Now we will introduce our last speaker for today's press conference, Lucas Bent, an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Thank you. My name is Lucas Bent. I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation and a resident of Berwick, Lucas, last name Bent. On Monday, July 13th, ICE murdered Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero in cold blood while driving with his 3-year-old daughter. He was a father and a husband. He was a beloved community member. And he was another victim of an ongoing wave of ICE terror. ICE paid no mind to Johann's humanity. They paid no mind that he'll never be able to celebrate another one of his daughter's birthdays again. That Johann's daughter is now left without her father. And that Johann's wife is now left without her husband. This is the sick and cruel nature of ICE's brutality. They roam the streets as an armed gang of thugs funded to the tune of $85 billion. That makes them one of the most well-funded and most lethally armed law enforcement groups across the entire country. Trump wants us to believe that these murderers are here to apprehend criminals. The truth is that ICE are the criminals. We demand the immediate prosecution of all killer ICE agents who act like an occupying force here in Maine and throughout the country. But it is not just ICE. This entire system is responsible for what happened to Johann and to so many others who have been murdered, assaulted, harassed, and torn apart from their families by ICE. The responsibility doesn't just lie with David Michael Briette, who pulled the trigger on Johann. The responsibility also falls on every Democrat and Republican who has approved funding for ICE. The responsibility falls on the rich and powerful of this country who have criminalized and enacted violence on immigrants and on all nationally oppressed people since the foundation of the United States. We're not alone here in Maine. People have risen up against ICE wherever they go. In North Carolina, in Chicago, in Minneapolis, in LA, wherever ICE has invaded our cities, the people have mobilized, resisted, and shown ICE that we are prepared to fight until they are run out of wherever they go. On July 18th, we will take to the streets again at 3 p.m. in Monument Square in Portland to demand that ICE be abolished and to demand full legal rights for all immigrants in this country. We will not stop until justice is won for Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, and all victims of ICE terror. We urge all people of conscience all over the country to join us in this national call to action on July 18th. Find a demonstration near you. Bring your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors. It's going to take all of us fighting, not just today, not just tomorrow, But until we win, until we are rid of ICE for good. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Thank you to all of our speakers today. We look forward to seeing everyone in the streets on Saturday, July 18th. We'll be starting at 3 p.m. at Monument Square in Portland to demand that ICE be abolished, the prosecution of all killer ICE agents, and full rights for all immigrants. Thank you. We'll not be taking any questions.